want you to go and train in Joe's gym.
Yeah.
Told him. And then Arnold says, hey, can I bring my friend Franco?
That's right.
And that's how Franco got here.
That's right. But it was a good camaraderie back then. I mean, it was a simple life, but it was a fun life. The Sundays and Saturdays on the beach, everybody was there.
No, the people were very nice. And when you talk about movie work, for example, all of us that were in it, we all helped one another.
Right.
As I understand, it's more cutthroat today. I don't know personally, so I'm not involved in it. But I remember then, if I got a job, I'd quickly call Bug-Eye Louie, or I'd call Zabo, or I'd call or Joe. All of us would call each other. Hey, so-and-so, Hollywood's got something.
Yeah, everybody
Drop
knew.
your name. Or we'd even drop a name in. Many times you say, hey, I dropped your name in.
That's right. The phone on the wall would ring. It would be the studios. We're looking for bodybuilders, and everybody went.
Like, for example, you think of, when you say what movies, Spartacus was a big one.
Right.
We were all in Spartacus. So we made sure that each one got on.
Yeah. It was a different thing. It's very competitive today. In fact, back then, bodybuilders were unique. There weren't a lot of us around. We were kind of an oddity walking around town, and you didn't see many. Like today's, everybody's in shape. Everybody has abs. Everybody works out.
It's called buffed.
Buffed, yeah. Everybody's buffed.
Today. Everybody's looking to be buffed.
But back then, we were kind of looked upon as freaks.
Yeah.
We weren't the norm, and you go into a restaurant, all the heads would turn, look at that guy, look at that guy, but it's not like that today. But it was kind of nice being unique, because when the studios called for the guys, there was a handful of us, and we all got down and got the parts.
Yeah. And nobody, I mean, if you didn't get one, you didn't get one,
right.
But you always made sure you try to get the friends. The whole gang would be there. On so many of these calls, I remember all of us would be there.
Right. The thing is that there weren't a lot of leading roles, because back then their gripe was, if you're going to play a doctor, you're going to play a lawyer, he doesn't have muscles. It's impossible.
No.
But now today, all the professionals train, and that's that. So Arnold kind of broke the mold when he got Conan, and then he moved on from there, and then muscles in the movie started getting bigger and bigger, of course, and he kind of opened the door for everybody else who had to build. And then there was William Smith.
William Smith, yes.
Who got a lot of work.
Well, William Smith was sort of, even with muscles, more in the norm. Arnold was out of the norm in every way you could think of. He was accented. He didn't really have any great command of the language. But somehow, I would say he had a charisma.
Yeah, there's no question about that.
I mean, Arnold had a charisma. I used to listen to Arnold, for example, sometimes being interviewed, like on a Merv Griffith show. Yeah. And he would be on that one quite a bit. And Arnold had the gift, the talent, whatever we would call it. He'd know how to keep the conversation within bounds where he wasn't outside of it.
Exactly.
He would always steer the conversation back to only what he knew about.
Yeah, he controlled it.
So he would control it, because otherwise he'd be lost.
Right.
Because I remember him telling me once how he met, once he was already higher, and he met Henry Kissinger. And he says, boy, he says, like he kind of scared the shit out of him. Yeah. Because Kissinger wasn't going to take a back seat.
Right.
Not to muscles, not to anything.
So he led it. Arnold had to follow.
So I watched just how he did it, and he did it very well. He kept it within bounds.
Did you ever think that he'd end up where he is now?
No. I got to be honest, no.
Did you ever think he'd end up to be a superstar in films?
No. I mean, once it got started, then then it was already possible. Right. But no, I thought, because we go back to, let's say, an earlier era, and you take Steve Reeves.
Right.
Steve Reeves was as good looking as you can expect anybody to be or want to be, and few would match it.
Right.
He was already there with the Hercules thing, but he didn't speak. And the movies weren't interested in him basically as a leading man, except in kind of freak roles. Remember the movie Athena?
Sure.
All the boys were in it.
Sure.
Richie Dubois, who was another. Well, Richie could have been pushed more, but Richie didn't want it.
Well, Dave Draper could have been pushed more.
Dave could have been pushed more, but Draper was an interesting case in this way. I don't know if he'd agree or not, but see what you think. That is, Dave did everything that would make you look at him and attract attention.
Right.
And it was the very thing he didn't want.
It was exactly what he didn't want. He had the look, he had the hair, he had the build, he was a nice guy.
He was marvelous looking.
Yeah.
But yet somehow he'd push you away. Don't look at me.
Yeah, look at me, but don't look at me. I want to be wanted for the movies, but I don't want the movies.
It's push me, pull me.
Right, exactly.
And somehow, because I thought would have been the natural, for example, for the movie Stay Hungry.
Oh, yeah.
But Rafelson thought he could work better with Arnold. I remember he and I talked about it, so I knew I wasn't.
Well,
I
Arnold,
went down just for curiosity.
Arnold was a lot more outgoing. I mean, he put himself out there to be seen and heard, and
Right.
Dave didn't.
And Rafelson sort of picked up on that, and he says, he might have never done it really, but he says, I can work with somebody like him.
Yeah.
It was the implication that, not Draper.
No, because you have somebody who's over the top, you can bring him down, but somebody who's at the bottom, you can't bring him out.
Draper
You just can't
was
do
too
that.
much of an introvert.
Exactly. And when he did the movie Don't Make Waves with Tony Curtis, I mean, Chet Yorton was in that, and there's a
Yes.
lot of guys in that movie. And Dave looked phenomenal in that film.
They all looked good.
Yeah.
They all looked good. But it seems this one, he was personable.
Yeah.
He knew how to be personable. He was easy in that way. And, young that he was, but somehow he can bring it to his level and keep it there.
Right. Well, the Terminator really helped. Playing a modern-day Frankenstein is what that was.
And I was told that he was offered the other part. He says, no, I want that.
I heard the same thing.
I remember.
We can't dispute where that's gone. The old gym didn't have the same atmosphere as Gold's at the beach.
Absolutely different.
Completely different.
The main thing was most of us, or those of us who went to World, you had a few different types. There were those who sort of wanted a lower key,
Right.
and those of us who were just close friends to Joe.
Right.
So for me, had there not been a Joe, I'd have been continuously with Golds.
Exactly.
Because I knew a lot of the people here anyway. But Joe and I were close. I figured, no, I got to give him the support.
Now, did you train down at the pit too?
Yeah.
That was kind of like an off-day workout, wasn't it?
Yeah, just a little extra, just to throw in
Did you eat at the Germans restaurant?
all the time.
Do you remember the?
We all do.
Remember the sister with the hairy arm? Anyway, the Germans, it's like a 7-egg omelet.
7-egg omelet, ham and cheese. The thing just scrambled up fast, spread out like a foot and a half wide, almost like a
Exactly.
yard wide. Handfuls of cheese, handfuls of ham. Whoop, fold over fast with some toast, cup of coffee, and
Right on the beach.
right on the beach.
Eat and don't go back out the sand.
And they were kind of lined out on the outside.
Right. Yeah. Well,
Oh, the memories of that place.
memories of that place. Were you on a strict diet at the time?
Never.
Never, huh?
Not
But you always
really.
stayed hard and lean and muscular.
The secret of the hard and lean was you didn't weigh too much. When I started actually wrestling professionally, I was about 212, 214, went up
Right.
to about 224 approximately. Then I broke an ankle right in the beginning, and so I softened up a little, and I got back into training, but I never quite got into that condition at the heavy body weight that I was when I first went to Detroit.
Right.
So anyway, but wrestling then became the main business, and you did some working out. For a while, I even almost stopped working out. I used to work out with a cable set or something, like in Chicago. And then I started again with the weights, in different places in the country. But I suddenly got tired of the body weight. And I said, I'm tired of this. I'm taking a holiday from wrestling, which I did, and I melted off about 15, 20 pounds, just letting it fall off, just ate less.
Yeah.
And I began to get just very muscular.
Yeah, because
And I was always working out.
yeah, you'd come in the gym and do a couple of sets and take a run on the beach, and come back, do a couple of sets, lay in the sun.
Right, I
And you
did.
stayed in awesome shape doing that.
And I, we used to always, surf was up, we'd be out there surfing.
Right. What was a character? He'd sit in front of the gym in a chair, do his crosswords, or go to sleep with his dark glasses on and just take the sun.
That's it.
And that's how he ran the gym. If you came in to join the gym when he was there and he was busy, he said, I'm busy, come back later. I'm taking a nap.
And the phone was slightly off the hook.
Yeah. He didn't want to answer the phone. If it did ring, he'd say they'd call back.
With the years, he got more professional at how to hide that.
Yeah.
Like he'd have like a little, I remember like there was a lizard he had with a little tail, and he put the tip of the tail between the receiver and the base, and so you couldn't tell that the phone was off the hook.
Oh my God. That was so
I remember
funny.
somebody else called one day, I'm sitting, and evidently they asked, is this World Gym? And Zabe's response was, all right, I give up. Is it?
That would be Zabo.
That was him, hang up.
Man.